Hi everyone, welcome to Conversations with April. I am your host, April Gibbons. I'm a licensed professional counselor. Today I have with me, I'm gonna let the ladies introduce themselves.
Good morning. My name is Sherrick. Happy to be here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal. Happy to be here as well.
I'm Carrie Jones. Ditto. Happy to be here.
Okay, so today we are going to talk about self-love and what does that look like in our own self-love journey. If we're there, we still working on it, if we still need to work on it, what is self-love? What does that mean to everybody?
Loving yourself, putting yourself before others' needs. A lot of times we, especially as women, speaking from that side, we tend to take care of everything and everyone around us, but not ourselves.
Okay.
So to me, self-love is loving yourself, like your self-esteem, your self-worth. To me, a big part of self-love is not being too hard on yourself, giving yourself grace.
Okay.
That's good.
I agree.
Scary.
Self-love.
Okay.
Self-love is a soft, very, very good topic for me because at the age of 54 and coming from the background of an alcoholic father and domestic abusive home, I had to learn how to love myself. My mom, you just as a counselor, you learn so much, and even back in that era when I was that child, I saw my mom just trying to take care of everybody and not take care of herself. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn when that codependency.
Yeah.
Codependency is not good, and you're not loving yourself. You're trying to take care of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's a part of my definition. What self-love is not. Trying to take care of everybody and not taking care of yourself.
Right.
So I had to learn my journey of self-love. And at 54, I'm still learning how to love me and take care of me. Because every now and then I still want to still take care because I'm in the helping profession.
Yeah.
Take care of everybody and not. And self-love, I think, for us, April, would go into that self-care.
Yes.
As counselors.
Yeah, I agree. Self-love absolutely is loving yourself. Also, getting to the point to where you are comfortable in your own skin. Loving yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, not letting outside influences affect you and what you have going on within. Also, not worrying about other people's opinions.
Exactly.
What other people have to say.
So true.
And that was my downfall. In the helping profession, wanting to be accepted by everybody
Right.
and liked by everybody. But as you grow in yourself and you go in grace and you grow in the Lord, you realize that you don't have to be accepted by everybody. And everybody ain't going to like you.
That's true.
And it's okay.
But that's
And that's okay
Mm-hmm.
that everybody doesn't like me. And I'm still getting there. I'm still working on that.
Okay. So let's talk about self-love in terms of relationships.
Saying what you want and what you need. And having standards and boundaries, which is something as I get older, I realize that you have to say up front if something's okay for you. If, it's okay to say, this is not okay for me. This is what makes me happy. This is not making me happy. And it's okay to walk away from situations that aren't serving you, people that aren't loving you. You have to love yourself enough first.
I love that. Mm-hmm. That's called non-negotiables. Mm-hmm. A woman, especially a woman, and men too, you have to know what your non-negotiables are.
Absolutely.
You have to know what you're going to take and what you're not. What you need and what you don't need. And I think a lot of us don't do that. I know for me, I didn't do that because I just did not want to be alone.
Right.
And when you don't want to be alone, that means you don't love
yourself.
Because you have to get to a place where, you know what, Lord, I am okay with being by myself. I'm okay with Jesus as my boyfriend. I'm okay with Jesus as my husband. Until you're ready to bring me the physical
There you go.
part of it. So that is powerful.
I feel like I see that a lot in relationships, and as I look back over relationships, I'm at a point in my life where I realize okay, this is what I want. And if they don't want that, that's okay. And you have to love yourself enough to make those decisions, and you have to realize that it's part of, am I loving myself enough? Am I thinking of myself? Because a lot of times as women, we think of everybody else but us, and we can grow up and see things and think that's how it is. Oh,
Exactly.
when you a mama, you take care of everybody. You know, this is what mamas do. Because I would grow up, my mama would say something like, "Oh, well, you a mama." That's what mamas do.
You're supposed to.
Mamas are people too. They got hopes and dreams and aspirations, and they had whole lives before we were even part of it.
Exactly.
And so, as women, we don't necessarily have to give up ourselves, and that's the ideal. You have to kind
That's
of
powerful.
get
That's
over.
powerful.
That's
Yeah.
powerful. You don't have to give up yourself because
Right.
I think the women, our mothers, they gave up themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that. You gave up everything. And I don't even know if I even remember seeing my mom do anything for herself, really. It was all for me and my 3 sisters. And my dad.
And a lot of times it goes back to, like you said before, the codependency. A lot of times, and I see a lot of women in counseling that they're married, but they're so codependent on that relationship. And I tell them all the time, you can't be truly happy in a codependency. That's not healthy. Because what it is, what if something happens to that person? And then what you gonna do? You know, because
You're
you're
gonna
so
lose yourself.
you're so codependent on that partner. So it's like, well, he doesn't treat me like this, and he's not making me happy. Happiness starts within. You have to be happy inside, internally first, and not depend on that other person. You're giving that other person too much power. Yeah.
You're right.
It
You're
It goes back to
absolutely
what
right.
Crystal said about boundaries and learning to know what you're going to accept and what you're not. But at the same time, you have to know who you are. And I think that's where my journey started. I've been married 29 years. And unfortunately, the journey of me learning to love myself started in a marriage when it's not supposed to start when you're in a marriage, because you got 2 cracked eggs coming together to make a whole egg, and you got all of these little cracks, and then you had these little bitty cracked eggs. So women need to learn this, and I think that's a reason why I became a counselor, because I want women to realize you need to know you first before you jump into a relationship. You need to learn, you need to love you first. Going back to self-love, you need to love you first before you try to love somebody else, because if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love that other person if you don't love yourself? And that's where we lose ourselves, because we're trying to codependent. We're trying to take care of this man and love him so he won't go anywhere.
But also, if you are afraid to be alone, what about those
Bam.
women that jump from this relationship and that one don't work, and then you jumping into the next
Next one.
relationship because you're so afraid of being by yourself?
Exactly.
And then you have that negative thinking that, oh, well, I'm going to be by myself for the rest of my life. Nobody's going to come along, so let me take this. So you end up kind of settling for something definitely less than what you deserve, because you feel like there's no one else out there, or you're not worthy of no one else.
I've been truly blessed to be in a marriage of 29 years, only because I fought for that marriage. But in the process of that marriage, I had to learn. In the process of the marriage, I had to learn how to love me. I had to learn how to put my husband on the back burner and learn how to love me. And I started with the first book, which is a hard read. It's called Living, Loving, and Learning by Leo Buscaglia.
Okay.
And then I read Codependency No More by Melanie Beatty, or Betty, Beaty.
Okay.
Those were the first 2 books within maybe the first. But it also came after I got a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I got a relationship, but unfortunately and fortunately, all of this happened in the midst of the first 5 years of my marriage. But I had a good husband that was patient with me and worked with me. And marriage is hard, but we worked together, and we both was in it to win it. And I think that's how we survived these 29 years. But marriage is very difficult. So without knowing yourself, and then you jump into a marriage, Lord.
That is so true. And just to piggyback off what you're saying, in marriage, I've been married, 5 years now, I think, and we have 2 little kids. So for the first 2 years of our marriage, I was always there. I never left my husband's side. So when I did get back into girls' night out or doing things by myself, he had to learn how to detach himself from me. I felt like I needed to always be there. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you think I'm doing something or whatever. And we never even had that as an issue in our marriage. But now he's like, okay, Mom, you do need time away. Go get your nails done. Go get your hair done. Go hang out with your friends. Mm-hmm. So communicating what you need and what you want. You know, in order for any relationship to work, whether it's marriage or whether you're dating. Yeah, totally agree.
Well, let's talk about how sometimes our past relationships have effect, and it can trigger your self-love journey. I know, full disclosure with me, I was in a relationship, and I think that's what piggybacked my start of my deep spiritual journey with myself, and just really learning to love myself, because in that relationship I gave my all to that person. It was more or less, I felt like I loved that person more than I really loved myself.
Yes, been there, done that.
It wasn't a reciprocal, it wasn't a equal give and take. So I had to decide, when the infidelity kicked in and these things that how this person treated me, do I stay in this or do I love myself more and move forward? Mm-hmm. So I decided to love myself more and leave that relationship and never look back and evolved as a person just because of that experience. But sometimes as women, we can go through these things and it hits us to our core to where you never truly get over it, or it takes a very long time for you to get over it.
Yes. With women, women and men are so different. When a woman gives herself, especially sexually, we've given everything. But a man can do that and not feel attached. In the dating scene before marriage, I got so tired of hearing, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Yeah. I got so tired of hearing that. Wow. You know, and so many women, but we settle. Right. We settle for that. And you give your all, I mean everything. You give you all, and then to find out that
no commitment.
No commitment. Yeah. And I think that also goes back to us in that self-love. Mm-hmm. You don't love yourself enough to realize that I don't have to accept this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm worth more than that.
I'm worth more than that.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big part of self-love to me, to be upfront with. When you're in a relationship or when you're dealing with somebody, when you see those red flags in the beginning, I feel like as women, we always want to fix people or even just
I can change them.
You don't, even if you don't think of fixing, but like, oh, I can help him. I can be, girl, no, run.
Thank you.
Get out.
Far
and
away.
that's easy
for
counselors to do.
You have to love yourself enough to realize that, like, you're in this situation, because you can get caught up in the situation pretty quickly if you aren't present enough, or you're allowing yourself to really see what's going on. You have to love yourself enough to know, like before, this doesn't feel good to me. Yeah. It doesn't feel like I'm in here equally. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about y'all, but my grandmama always told me I can do bad by myself. Mm-hmm. So I came from some women that's like, look here.
Right.
And my grandma was wonderful and lovely, but she always tells me, you can do bad by yourself.
Oh, you can do great by yourself.
Exactly. So if you're doing great by yourself, don't bring this joker in that's messing it up.
Okay? Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, to me, that kind of goes to a point of contentment. I think about spiritually, about being content in all times and all seasons. So when you're content with who you are and you love yourself, you don't take on unnecessarily pains and mess. You're like, okay, I see the writings on the wall. I see how you acting. I don't like how you talking to me. You know, and you can love yourself enough to say, I won't be disrespected in this way. Because somebody loves you. Love is not hurt. Love is not pain. Love is not disrespect.
That's powerful. That is so powerful.
But also, I guess I want to talk about, everybody have their priorities in life, and to a certain extent, you want to have a balance. You see women that it's like they're always chasing a relationship or the next relationship, and they have not acquired anything for themselves. It's like you're so busy chasing the love aspect of it to where you've totally neglected your career aspect or even pursuing anything. So now what you're known for is going from this man to this man, and you have 2 or 3 babies or 4 kids by this man, but you have nothing that you've acquired on your own.
Nothing to show for it.
Yeah, nothing to show for it because you're not excelling in your career because you let that fall by the wayside because you're so focused on love. And I guess I want women to understand that you can have both. You know, there can be a balance. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, let me focus on what I need to do. Part of my self-love is me being able to be self-sufficient, because you want 2 people to come together that are self-sufficient, and so they can enhance the relationship, not to where, you know, you're dependent on this person, which it turns into codependency because you don't have, because you've been doing other stuff, so your priorities are not there. But it's like, okay, let me work on me. Part of my self-love, getting me together to where I am self-sufficient, so I can bring something to the table in this relationship as well. So when we come together, we are equal in an aspect to where we can build each other up, not opposed to me being the one, what we call the build-a-bear relationship, where women get in and it's like, okay, I need to help him, I need to fix him, I need to change him, and then you done all that and he leaves you and go marry somebody else because you've built him up and fixed him up and helped him be the best version of him, but you haven't, your stuff has been fell by the wayside.
That's true.
We see that so often.
Yeah, all the time. That's a lot.
We lose ourselves in someone else.
And you don't necessarily have to be single
You don't.
It's married people that I know who lose themselves sometimes in the relationship because you are so dependent on that person, and that's your happy space. So if this ends, I don't know what I'm going to do.
And I guess that goes into living your life on purpose. What is your purpose here on earth? Is your purpose to please that man or that woman that you're sleeping with? Or is your purpose to fulfill God's plan for your life career-wise? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people out here chasing the bag. So they get with a man because he got money, or the man get with the woman because she got money. They're not worried about, so it depends on what audience we are speaking to. Everybody, like you say, have different expectations, and they have their priorities all mixed up.
What's your intention?
Your intentions, correct.
Yeah. So I guess it goes with you deciding what exactly it is that you want. What do you want in life? That's the thing. Deep down, sitting with yourself, having that opportunity to spend some quiet time with you. Because a lot of times, a lot of people are scared to do that.
And we don't do it.
We don't.
I wish I
Open up
would
to
have
yourself.
done it.
Yes, spend some quiet time, sit in silence, and think about what is it that you want in this life. What are your intentions? What are your goals? What are your plans? What makes you happy? Not what everybody else wants for you, not what mama said that you should do, and all this stuff.
And not what you see somebody else has.
Exactly, because your blessing is not my blessing. And I'm okay with that.
Yep.
So you have to understand what's for you is for you. Can't nobody take that from you.
Yep.
That's a big part of self-love too, because people can grow up, or the world tells you this stuff, especially in this like social media, Instagram society, where people see
Social
stuff
media is the devil.
and they'll see pictures, but the picture doesn't tell the whole
The
story.
whole story.
How you got
And so, you know, you have to love yourself enough, which can be hard because you're constantly bombarded with these different images. So I think that's a good point. That's part of self-love as well.
Yeah.
Social,
Yeah.
I caution everybody with that social media, especially these millennials, because they see what their friends are doing. Because I got a 23-year-old, sees what their friends are doing, and severely depressed because he's not where he think he should be right now. And I'm trying to say, babe, you're not seeing the whole picture.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Exactly. You're not seeing the sweat and the toil and the problems that they have encompassed to get to where they are. So you know what? The only thing that I think right now will sustain us is Jesus.
That's true.
Learning to love Him first and yourself second.
Right.
And when my kids, 23 and 26 and 34, and I remember our lessons was Jesus first, family second, education third, and everything else comes after those three.
That's true, and that's good.
But being in competition with yourself, not measuring yourself against no one
Somebody else.
Because it's like, who are you competing against?
Exactly.
People you don't even know.
People you
And
don't
why?
don't even know them inside out. And you need to know yourself. That goes
Let's
all the
go
way
back
back to the original topic
Yeah.
of loving yourself.
Wow.
Good,
That's good. That's really good, ladies. Well, we're going to end on that note. So until next time, goodbye.
Bye. Thank you for
Bye.
Bye,
listening.
y'all.